right, I'm sitting here with Tony Tobin with Tobin Loans. I've known him for about 19 to 20 years. He was working with me at DR Horton. Maybe it's been about 15 actually, DR Horton 15. So, but he's been doing nothing but loans mainly, real estate loans, but he's also a salesperson. So he knows how to educate, and I want him to jump on. We're just chatting. We just had coffee today, tea and coffee, and we're chatting about the market and where things are going. So he's got a lot of great information. So Tony?
Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you guys can hear me there. Long story short,
you just talk to me, bro, and I'll just hold it like that.
Yeah, so long story short, our biggest concern is where interest rates are headed. And I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page of where we're going. And the bottom line is interest rates are not going down anytime soon. Interest rates are actually going to go up. There is not going to be any kind of a rate cut, which a lot of people have been saying. Because at the end of the day, you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, the Fed says there's going to be 3 rate cuts. Well, they also said there's going to be 5 at the beginning of the year. And at the end of the day, what this all comes down to is stimulus and need. And if you guys have been following me in my chats and things of that sort, you probably have already heard me say this. We're trying to get to our 2% inflationary rate. Right now, we're at 3%. We're doing all that we can to get to 2%. We're not going to get there. If by chance we do get there, that doesn't mean we're going to start cutting down rates, because that's an inflationary risk. So we have to take into consideration right now is where we currently are headed and where we're going to be. So when we look at where inflation comes from, the biggest elephant in the room is going to be oil costs and shipping costs. And right now we're seeing that people are rising the cost of oil. We all know what's happening with the cost of Russia and the Russian war. We have India no longer buying oil from Russia. They're buying it from America, which is good, but that's creating an increase in it because we're creating scarcity, because there's going to be less people actually supplying it. So we're going to see gas prices right now. I'm paying over $6 a gallon. I don't see that ending anytime soon, and we're going to see shipping costs go up. When we see shipping costs go up, we see inflation go up, and we're going to see inflationary risk continue. So the only way we can see inflation go down is if we see the inevitable end of people buying. And America is a consumer country. We're always going to be buying. We take out our equity lines to keep on buying. Credit card debt's never been so high. Not until we get that slowing down are we actually going to see inflation cool off, and hopefully we don't hit stagflation, which is my biggest fear, but I feel like we're going to actually hit that point. So
what happens if we get to stagflation?
Stagflation means we just have to wait it out until things start crumbling, things start falling. Because if we get to stagflation, those of you who might not know what that is, it's when we get inflation without economic growth. So now, we're getting economic growth. We're seeing things moving forward.
I just heard there was a bunch more jobs created, right?
More jobs created, but what jobs are created? We also know that, whoever is creating these jobs, we have to make sure that they're paying living wages. A lot of people have a job, but they can't afford their bills. Cost of groceries and inflation's taken such a high hit that people can't always afford what they have. So even though they're creating jobs, are these jobs that could actually help people survive, feed their family, and so forth? Jobs look good on the numbers, but is it actually helping the public? And if that is something, we have inflationary risk. So it's kind of a double-ended sword. As the economy does well, people start buying more, the cost of goods are going to go up with it because people start buying more, which is the problem we had from when we came out of COVID, when everyone was all pent up and everything started going crazy. So at the end of the day, I don't see interest rates going down anytime soon, at least not for the Fed cutting rates, because they have no need to, because the economy is doing well.
Do you see home sales going down?
No, that's the funny thing. It's all going to be coming to supply and demand. We're still underbuilt until builders start overbuilding to the point of seeing a surplus.
Sorry, how many million would you say we're under?
I honestly don't know those exact figures. I just know that since the
I've heard 4 million, but they're not counting the people they've let in. They're looking at people being born versus homes being built, but they're not counting. I heard it was 7 million people we let in, right, from other countries.
Well, we also have to take in consideration this is a very broad term, because there are certain communities that have a surplus. For instance, I believe Austin, Texas, because of the economic boom, all of the companies moving out there, there is actually an influx of supply. And they're actually seeing a drop in value because there is so much building being done, and now that's starting to fall off. But there's other people, and if we're looking nationwide, we are in a shortage because builders don't want to get to the point of building too much and not selling it. So at the end of the day, if we see economic need, you're going to see something not happen that we've ever seen before. When we had the economic crisis, when everything kind of fell and went to crap, if you will, what we had was people getting foreclosed upon. When you have the foreclosures occur, it dropped the values. We're not going to do foreclosures anymore. What people are going to do is they're going to do loan modifications, they're going to do deferments, and they're going to keep things in place. Because from a lending standpoint, it makes more sense to increase the interest and the amount due for the person than to take a loss.
What about the 40-year loans? I heard those are coming in, so that's going to make it easier for maybe first-time buyers.
No, the 40-year loans is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. What it is a 10-year adjustable, 30-year fixed. So there isn't actually a 40-year amortization. There is a 40-year loan when it comes to a loan modification. So if you're in a position to where you can't pay your bills and you can't make your note, you reach out to them, they can do a loan modification, and they can extend your loan up to a 40-year term to make it more affordable for you.
Okay.
So what lenders have learned is it's better to create a situation where someone is in debt, paying high interest, not paying the note, paying interest only.
Versus losing.
Exactly. Then foreclosing them and then hurting the whole market.
Yeah.
So to get into a situation to where we see foreclosure.
Not gonna happen.
Exactly. Because
so that means the prices are going to hold or continue to go up with inflation.
Exactly.
Until inflation slows down.
Supply and demand is going to be the number one case.
And you're worried about stagnation, which is inflation, stagflation, which is inflation
without
economic growth. So but you're saying what kind of jobs are there? So that.
But here's the thing: it has to happen, because if we're
to happen. Stagflation is going to happen. For how long though?
We have to have the economy crumble in one way or another. Some industry has to fall. We can't always grow. It's always got to be a cycle.
So what do you predict it would be?
It's like musical chairs. No one wants the music to end.
Everybody was saying that about the recession, and then rates went up 5 points, which caused kind of everybody just stopped. Everybody held tight and froze up, but we still stabilized and continued
because we're still consumers.
But there's still a need. So there was a lot of people that wanted to sell, move, but they didn't. The ones that needed to kept the market increasing.
At the end of the day, if you are a family of 2 that turns into a family of 5, you're going to have to buy that bigger house.
Or you move, job location, this, that. So we went from selling 1,000 homes a month when the rates were low to 600, but our inventory is still a 2-month and under. So until we get to so if we were at a 6-month supply of inventory, do you remember when the last time that was? 6 months supply of inventory?
I think it's back when we were in new home sales back in the day.
I honestly couldn't remember. So we had 6 months back in like 05, 4, 7, before the crash.
Yeah, exactly. When things were just being pumped out
before
left
the
and
crash.
Right.
We had a 6-month.
New home builders popping up every which corner.
And that was a 6-month. That was a healthy market. Healthy.
I don't think there was anything healthy. It was all speculation. So I mean, at the end of the day,
so more people were just building more. That's why they're
building, because people were buying.
So now
people
they're not.
Just buying.
So you heard it from Tony Tobin, one of the top lenders. Actually, he's been the top lender for his company for how many months now?
For a couple of months now. Keeping things consistent.
And we're only in April, guys. So in order to become the best, learn from the best, guys, get your information from someone who's a specialist in their market, and that's what we're saying now with Tony. I put him on the spot today. Thank you, Tony.
Hey, we were just having coffee and had a good conversation. You wanted to share. So the bottom line is this. The only thing I want to say is rates are not going to get better, and we can look at it one of 2 ways. If rates do get better, the market's going to change. More people are going to get into it. It's going to cause prices to go up. If rates do go up, the cost of buying that house is going to go up. So one way or another, you're going to be paying more. So if you're into the market to buy today, or deal with the consequences.
Let me ask you a question. Do you agree with pulling your money out of your house to buy more properties?
I don't believe in using debt equity. Now, when I say debt equity, is if you have equity in a house and it's just sitting there and it's doing nothing, there's no point. So if you have your house paid off and you're not paying $2,000 a month, that's great. But at the end of the day, what are you really doing? If you have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 sitting there, why not put that money to work?
I didn't plan, guys. I had no idea what he was going to say because I've been preaching this stuff for years now. Just got out of a conversation last night with 2 gentlemen about the same thing. I'm going to share this video with them. But I, on the spot, just asked him. I honestly didn't know what he was going to say because we're different humans. But guys, we've been in the market for a long time. He sold real estate, but mainly loans, and does just loans now. So we'll be working together. If you guys have any questions about the loan process, reach out to Tony Tobin Loans, right?
Yeah, Tobin Loans.
Tobin Loans. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.